Yo, what's good? It's 6. I'm about to go really in depth with this video. As you see, it's like almost 30 minutes long. I'm about to show you really how to just make crazy heartbeats like the Atlanta sound. Kind of like some of the producers there, like Twisted Genius, Prod DB, ATL Jacob, you know, just to name a couple. But yeah, let's just get straight into the video. I'm gonna preview the beat that we're gonna be breaking down today, and then I'm gonna pass it off to my guy Prod by D so that he can show how he made the loop. Here's the preview of the beat that we're breaking down today. Now I'm gonna toss it over to Prod D. He gonna show you how he made the loop.
All right, what's good with you guys? Yeah, my name is Produced by D. I'm based in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I'm gonna be breaking down this loop that I did with Sick. I first started off with his main melody right here in Nexus 4. I believe it is a pad. Sorry for, I know it's like the UI is really huge. My bad about that, but it's a synth and this is the main melody. Let me just go back to it. They have like, yeah, there's effects on it and it's in the scale of C minor. All right, so now we got the next melody and that is also in Nexus 4. I use a lot of Nexus 4 in this loop. This is a pad called Gloria and then here's the counter melody. No effects on it, it's left how it is. No EQ, nothing, just left it. And then here we got a synth, and this is like it's kind of layered with the other melodies, but it plays a call action kind of. So. That's that. And then we got next preset is in Lecture X. This is like a ARP. It's like a custom ARP. Like, I don't remember the exact preset, but oh, it's a custom ARP. Yeah, here's this preset. For that, I just put some gross beat, portal, and glitch 1.3, I believe. Yeah, glitch 1.3 for that like tape stuff at the end of the bar. And for the next preset, I added, I think this is layered to the main melody. Yeah, this is a choir, and it's layered with the main melody. And here's the pattern. And another thing too, if you guys, I don't know if most of you guys probably already knows, but like if you guys wonder why like the notes are really close together, because it gives like a lot of like tension on the notes and it makes it really like suspenseful and dark. So that's why a lot of notes are together. And then here we got some like a key, it's like a one shot in the Distra 2 kit, I believe. Yeah, that's like one of my go-to kits I've been using. And here's the video. Yep, that's it for that. And then we got a vocal in here. It's a sub bass that plays with the whole melody. That's also in Distra 2. All together, this is what you should have for the full loop structure and everything. I forgot to mention too, if you're for the time markers and everything is for kind of like a guideline when I'm structuring my beats, so I know where certain like things should go, like where the chorus should go, where the verse should be at, or the bridge and all that. So I use it kind of as a guideline just so I know where everything should be at, and it helps out a lot. So here's the full loop, and I'm gonna let it play. All right, so that's the full loop, and I'm gonna dish it off right to 6 to break down the drums.
All right, now that you know how to make the loop, I'm gonna show you guys how I chopped up the loop. As you see, it's all chopped up right here. Then I'm gonna show you how to do the drums as well. And then I'm gonna show you how to do the drums and arrangement. So first things first, I literally just dragged the loop in, obviously. There's not really any particular way for me to explain this other than I just listened to the loop and I listened to the parts that I liked the most, right? I chopped the parts that I liked the most. So let's just say I do this. This is the part I like. Drag it off to the side. Obviously make it on time. That was an accident. Chop part, I like this part. Drag it off to the side. Chop this part, I like this part. Drag it off to the side. But like, you know what I mean? That's what I did, right? Now that when I have all these parts, like let's just say I have a bunch of parts, right? All down here. Then what I did was I flipped them, reversed them, pitch them up, pitch it down, put effects on them, portal, blah, blah, halftime, just to give it some more finesse to the loop. The loop is already fire, but when you flip it further, it just adds so much more. So basically, I'm gonna just show you guys first. I'm gonna go through the loop and all the effects that I put on it, how I flipped it, you know what I mean? So you guys can learn how to flip audio in ATL music, like Twisted Genius, you know what I mean? DB, Prod DB, if you know who that is, shout out you. And if you know the Tron sound, shout out you. Yeah, in this sound, in the ATL sound, it helps to chop audio like crazy. And you see all these consolidate, you're like, what, this ain't chopped? It's because I consolidated like crazy. And then you don't see any audio over here, you only see the finished ones. That's because I went to tools and I purged all the audio clips. There's like 50 audio clips, like 30 audio clips of me like chopping stuff up to get a different sound. But anyway, the intro, I just kept it the same. It's just the vocal that he had at the intro, right? Then also I added this bass, right? And this bass is from Cardo's new kit, Cardo's Super Madness kit 2K24. He just dropped that, got that, and it's one of these basses right here, right? It is the Madhouse bass, right? All I did was I took the 808 pattern, and I'm not getting to that yet. I copied the 808 pattern, put it at the intro, and just so that it's not boring, you know what I mean? It's not just the vocal, there's the bass as well. So this is what that sounds like, right? The hi-hats and the snare comes in, and the open hat, but it's not the 808 yet. This ain't dropped yet. It's still the bridge. This is the bridge. Since he had the bass on this part, I had to put it on a track and cut out, I have to route it also an EQ that has a low cut on it so that it's not interrupting the bass that I added. So if you add a bass and then there's another bass on the loop, cut out the bass on the loop, or decide, you have to pick between one, because if you have two basses, it's gonna be phasing. It's not gonna sound good. Basically, I routed these both to track 3, and what do I have on track 3? Just Valhalla and a compressor and this EQ right here. So I'm cutting out the lows, I'm doing like a high cut, but then I'm boosting where I cut it at, because when you do a high cut like this and cut out a bunch of highs, it's good if you have a high Q. And basically what a high Q means is this little thing, how I'm dragging it up. Basically wherever you cut it at, it boosts that point just to make it sound more natural of a high cut, you know what I mean? Then I cut out the lows, and the compressor, I have a Valhalla, right? And then a compressor right after it, and the reason for that is to just bring up the tail of the reverb, because then you're gonna hear the reverb more, but then you're also gonna hear the original sound. Like the original sound isn't drowned out completely, no. Like when you have a reverb, you got out the right mix, and then you also got a compressor, it's gonna bring up the original vocal, and it's gonna bring up the tail of the reverb, and it's gonna make it sound so much better. Then obviously I compressed the shit out of it, but then I just mixed it in, so it's parallel compression. This is what we get into the mixing now. That's a parallel compression right there, after the reverb. Now the next thing that I did is the chorus comes in, so this sample right here. And it looks like this is already consolidated and everything, but what I most likely did is reverse it. Then as you see, once you reverse it, the whole progression gets flipped. So you got to cut it all up like this, every bar. If you want to reverse something, you got to do this. I mean, you don't have to, but it's good to fix the progression. See how I reversed it? So I reversed the whole progression. Now I'm fixing the progression so that the progression is still the same. It's not flipped, but the sound is still reversed. So it sounds reversed, but the progression is still the same because you flipped it back. Now that I did that, I put on track 6 and there's nothing on it. I probably put some type of plugins on it. You see I got like Portal right here, halftime, micro shift.
So I'll go through those, but real quick, I'm gonna skip over on that. I'll come back to the plugins real quick to show you guys what I did. But this is the second part of the chorus. It looks like apparently I pitched this up in octave, and then I put it on number 1. So this is where the effects come in. So I got Portal. I'm using my own preset. Go get that link in the description. Multi-kit. It doesn't just come with Portal presets, comes with hella phrases, accents, everything. Then I have a halftime, and I like to use this FX at the bottom left. Put it all the way to the left because it kind of makes like a gate sound. It's like it goes to the halftime and then it rises back up to, it opens the halftime back up. Basically, it's like a mix knob going from 100% to 0%, and it just keeps doing that every half a bar. So whatever thing you have this set on, this FX thing is gonna go from 100% to 0%, whatever pattern you put. And I like to do that a lot. Then what I do, oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, on the Portal I mixed this in by 24%. I love to do this. I'll go crazy on a plugin and then I'll mix it in with the original sound so it's not overbearing. Same thing on halftime, I mixed it in. Then I added micro shift. It's just a chorus plugin. Shout out Sound Toys, go get their bundle, it's fire. I mixed it in by 8%. Then I put Echo Boy on, and this is also my own preset. I don't even have these online anywhere yet, but if you guys really want my presets, like FL presets, everything, I got hella presets. I'm talking about for Echo Boy, all my plugins. Just let me know in the comments. Then I put more parallel compression, so I compressed it a lot. Then I mixed it in, and what that does is it takes an extremely compressed signal and the original signal, then you mix them together. I only did like 14% of the extremely compressed signal, but what that does is parallel compression. This is into mixing now. This is mixing. I'm not just talking, this is like more than just producer mixing at this point. This is like what engineers do, because I'm an engineer too, if you didn't know. But anyway, this is called parallel compression. You're just taking a really compressed signal to where everything is the same, like consistent volume. Then you're mixing with the dynamic original volume, and it just creates this way better signal than if you were to just compress it a little bit. It's better to compress it a lot and mix in the signal. Sounds way better. Then I just did a low cut and a high cut. Simple. I didn't mess with the cues that much. They're kind of, you know, pretty. It just fades off a little bit, you know. Maybe you mess with the cues a little bit if you want. The next thing I did, transitioning right into the verse, right? I pitched this up, and then I also have it on track 3. And I already showed you guys this. This is the same track as this stuff in the intro. So a lot of these sounds I put on the same track, but then some of the sounds are like on their own independent track. You know what I mean? So now I'm gonna go to the second. So this was the first part of the verse. This is the second part of the verse. So now we already got this. Then this is just pitched up. I might have flipped it, like reversed it type, but you already know how to do that now. So now the next sound it's on the same track. This is also pitched up, but then I also have something underneath it. So it looks like it's reversed, it's pitched up, and it's on track number 2. What's on track number 2? Just halftime. And look, the FX all the way to the left, and it's on 1 bar. So that means every 1 bar, it's like fading into the original sound. It sounds cool. Here, I'll even like show you guys what it sounds like before and after the halftime, so you see what I mean. So this is before. And then after. See how it's like, it's low and then it goes up for a second, like back to the original pitch. It's kind of like a gate, you know what I mean? I don't know. But then I just dragged the low cut down. So it's low cut, no like low frequencies messing with each other. But anyway, that's for the second part of the verse. Then it literally just repeats. All right, so that was the whole loop. It just repeats. Everything I just explained right here, it also repeats over here. And if you're seeing this right here, I just, instead of duplicating all of this over again, I duplicated the last verse 2 times. So it's twice as long for the last verse. Oh, actually, there's a reason why I did that, and it's in the drums. So let me go to that. But anyway, that's how I flipped his loop. Now I'm gonna show you guys how I did the drums. I have this hi-hat right here going crazy. Oh, that's crazy. No, that's crazy. By the way, I'm working on a kit. I just finished a new kit, and I have all the hi-hat midis. I have like 40 almost hi-hat midis. So if you want hi-hat midis, but that's not the only thing that's in the kit. This is a big kit, like 100 phrases, like 30 accents, Portal stuff. Like basically, I'm gonna just give a little explanation on how to do hi-hat rolls and stuff. Go to third step. I just did a little third step roll to begin the pattern with. It's not the normal pitch. I pitched it down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you know that if you pitch something down 5 semitones, that's always gonna be in relation to the original pitch, because at the base pitch, if you go up 5, that's gonna be in key. If you go down 5, that's gonna be in key. But anyway, if you go up 5 and go down 5 from C or whatever key you're in, it's always going to be in pitch. And I know it's a hi-hat, but it is important to keep your hi-hats in pitch. I just do by ear what sounds good, you know what I mean? You don't even have to think about it that hard, like, oh, is this in key? If it sounds good, it sounds good. At the end of this bar, see how I went down right here? It kind of creates like dun, 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 dun. I don't know, it just creates a bounce, you know what I mean? And then I have this 4-step roll, see, and I have like two octaves of this. So basically this is like a reverse 4-step roll going into, and how to create velocity going up. You just create a roll, right, like this. Then you can hold control, left click, drag to highlight it, let go. Then with your right mouse, you hold at the first note down at the velocity. Then you can just drag down like a slope. You see how FL just lets me create like a slope by holding right click, drag. Let me do that again so you guys can see even better. So if you hold right click over here, drag, then you hover over this note, then you just create a little slope just like that. It's easy. And that's how I made the slope going up, like the reverse. Then I just did this. I like highlighted it just like I showed you guys how to do. Then I held shift, I clicked it once, then I pressed control, down arrow, and that's how you create octaves hella easily, really fast. So yeah, now there's 2 octaves of this roll going up, and it just sounds cool because there's 2 octaves. I don't know, better than one, I feel like. Let me delete the low octave and show you. See, it's like not as powerful, but then with the low octave, it just sounds way harder. After I got this 2 bars right here, because this is 2 bars, I duplicated it, but then see how I changed it a little bit? Instead of this roll right here being pitched down 5, it's the same thing, right? But I pitched it up 7, because if you go up 7, that's also in key. If you go down 7, that's also in key. I'm about to give y'all a little tip. You go down 2, that's in key. You go down 3, that's in key. You go down 5, that's in key. You go down 7, that's in key. You have to know your numbers, because that's how you make. So it's the same pattern, but it's a little different on the second side. So all I did, I add this little 2 notes right here. It's like a, you know, it's like a little stutter. You can barely hear it, but it's cool. It's like a little stutter. And instead of this roll, I just made it 1 note. So it's still a double octave, but it's just 1 note, pitch down. See? Then it repeats. The whole hi-hat pattern repeats. Now for the snare, super simple. It's literally just a snare, literally like simple snare, nothing to explain there. The 808, I'll play it real quick. Ugh, that's hard. But anyway, so I did a double hit, which is, as you hear, it's like da 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 da. Sounds cool. And then it looks like I pitched a whole octave right here before it goes back in, before it repeats, right? Because this is 2 bars and then it repeats. It goes up a whole octave right before, like half a note or half, like I don't even know how this is. I don't know what to call this, but you get it. There's 2, 1, 2, right? Steps. I guess we'll call it steps. 1, 2 steps, and then boom, it drops back again. So it goes up real quick. Da-da. See, it just makes a cool effect. And then right here, I pitched up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So da 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 da, and right here I pitched up 1, 2. See, I told you guys. So 2, 3, 5, 7. So I'm just using the key to like kind of, I don't know, give variation to the 808s. So it's like, and then it just repeats. It's literally the same. This whole thing is the same as over here. This is literally with everything. I like to make 2 bars of patterns, duplicate it, change something on the second time, right, on the other duplicated part, then duplicate 4 bars, and that's the whole pattern. You can go and then change another something like over here, like maybe I could have done this like type shit, but yeah, I just kept it like that. I just like to keep stuff really simple sometimes, and then sometimes I might do complicated stuff. Now for the open hat, I just have it hit on certain 808s, because if you have the open hat hit on certain 808s, it's almost like an emphasizer to the 808. It just makes it hit harder. Also, if you see this little note right here, then you see how the velocity is on nothing. Basically the velocity is on nothing, but it's a slide note. See, it's a slide note. So this is a normal note. So right when the clap hits, the open hat turns off to make the clap feel like, or not the clap, the snare, to make the snare feel like it hits harder. Right when the open hat hits, it hits, and then the snare hits, turns off. And the way you do that, simply, you could do it another way, but this is a simple way to do it, is you just create a slide note and you turn the velocity all the way down. Wherever you want any sound to just turn off, create a slide note, place it on the place, where you want to turn off, put on 0 volume, and then it will slide to 0 volume. But you have to make sure that the slide note is all the way like this. So if it's dragged out, it's gonna take time to turn off. But if you hold Alt, left click drag it all the way in, so it's just one note, it's gonna turn off instantaneously. I just emphasized certain 808 notes this whole time. Like I'll just play it real quick so you can kind of get what I'm saying. And you see right here, actually, so right here I did like a little something different. So here's a low velocity going into a high velocity, going to a slide note when the snare hits, and then right after that there's another low velocity open hat. So it's kind of creating this weird little pattern. Here, I'll play so you can kind of catch it. I don't know, it's kind of cool. I just heard that in my head, or I just was trying stuff, and yeah. Then basically these whole 4 bars just repeated again, nothing different. This is the verse pattern, right? We had the chorus, this is the whole chorus, right? I just showed you 2 different patterns, right? But that's the chorus. The first pattern doesn't have the open hat. The second pattern does. So the first part of the verse is without the open hat. Or I meant the chorus, I don't know if I did. But anyway, when the second part of the chorus comes in, there's more energy, and I add the open hat in to give it more energy. It just has variation even between the chorus. And then when the verse comes in, it's a different pattern. What do I have on this pattern? I added a whole, I went and I got a different snare sound. So I have one snare, and then I also have another snare sound. But the only time that this snare sound is being used is for a roll. So I'm gonna play the little roll right now. All right, right? So, and the way you can come up with these rolls is literally the same way you can come up with a hi-hat rolls. So I showed you the triplet stuff. Literally, you just play around, like just start placing triplets, and like, you know what I mean? You'll come up with like a drop, because this is leading into a drop, right? This is going from the first part of the chorus, these 8 bars, going into the second part of the chorus, another 8 bars. So this is snare roll / 808 roll is kind of the transition. So if you just go on 3rd step, whatever, you know what I mean, 6th step, whatever, you'll come up with some type of drop, because that's literally all I do. I just go on 3rd step and I play around at these last 2 bars. Maybe you can even start it at this. You can even start 4 bars of a snare roll. You can even have 8 bars of a snare roll if you want. But then what I did is, after I got the snare roll, I pressed Control A and then Control C. That's to copy everything in the pattern. And then I go to the 808 and I pressed Control V to paste it. And then what I did is I pitched the roll of the 808, or the snare roll being copied into the 808 pattern, right? I pitched that part up. I left all the regular 808 alone, right? But I pitched this up. And the reason why I'm pitching it up is to hear the melody, because obviously you're taking a snare and putting it into 808. It's not gonna be in key, because you're not really like trying to focus on the snares being in key, right? So when you put in the 808 pattern, now you're gonna have to fix the melody. So you just pitch it up to where it's easier to hear. Place it going down in the scale. Like, just have a melody going down in the scale. If you know the scale, or you can even have scale highlighting right here. If you go to view and scale highlighting, you can have E. Let's say you're in E minor, you press E, then you just put it in minor, A only, minor natural, and then usually, you know, you would be in natural. If you're in major, that's cool. But yeah, you can use scale hiding if you need help. Anyway, just come up with an 808 pattern going down the scale, basically, as a transition. So this is what that sounds like. Hard. And as you see right here, I have this like X formation. So up here is going up in velocity, then there's like another octave below, and I know I'm layering 808s. I even asked myself, does this sound bad? I had to play it hella times, and I was like, no, it sounds good. But anyway, the lower octave is going down in velocity, the higher octave is going up in velocity. So it kind of creates this like dope effect where like both sounds are going opposites of each other, and they're opposite octaves. I don't know, it's cool. Also, as you hear it, you're like, that's definitely a different 808 sample. And yeah, you're right. So for the verse, not even for the whole verse, but for literally the first 8 bars of the verse, it's a different 808 sample. And I'm about to show you guys how to easily do that. If you want to have 2 different 808s that swap back and forth between each other, you just press right click, and then you go to clone, and then you just drag in another 808 sample right on top of it. Then make sure that at the end of your 808 patterns, you do that slide note thing that I was talking about. So as you see right here, you see right before it ends, there's a slide note and it's on 0. And the way you do that is you just make a note, right? A slide note first, just press S, because that's how you turn the slide notes. Or you can just come up here and click this. And if this is highlighted, that means the slide note is on. So then you just place it at the end, and I placed it in key, but I'm gonna place it down here so you guys can see. It doesn't really matter because it's gonna go to 0, but I just like to place it in key just in case, you know what I mean? But anyway, if you place it directly on the end, it's not gonna work. You have to hold Alt, left click, drag it over by literally 1. Make sure you're zoomed in all the way or else you're gonna drag it over more than 1. It has to go over by 1 free click. And when you hold Alt and drag something over, it's a free range click. You're not on a grid, you're gridless. So you're going over literally by 1. Make sure you do that, because if you don't do that, it's not gonna cut out the sound. But yeah, make sure you have that at the end of your 808s if you're gonna have 2 different 808s, so that it's not interfering with the 808. Because if this pattern, if I didn't do that, the 808 would still be playing, and then the other 808 would come in, and it would just be all terrible. It would start clashing, phasing, everything. You already know what happens. But yeah, that's everything. But as you see at the end, like I said, there's these 2 that I extended this verse. So the verse happens, right? If you look at this from here, this is the bridge, the chorus, and the verse. Then I duplicated this all the way over. This is the bridge, the chorus, and the verse. All I did was I took the verse melody and I duplicated this, right? I duplicated it twice. So now there's 2 verses at the end. But instead of duplicating the drum patterns exactly as well, I just took this. I took the other 808 with the snare roll and everything, and I made that 2 times at the end because I just thought that 808 was going crazy. There's a spider right there, and now it's going back up because I'm looking at it. That's crazy. Yeah, it's these 2 patterns with the crazy 808 at the end to have like a different. Maybe they'll fade it out. Maybe they'll have another chorus at the end with that crazy part. You let the artist have the option to do stuff with it, basically. And the beat is only 2 minutes and 46 seconds, which is that's nice. You know what I mean? It's not too long, it's not too short. But anyway, yeah. That's the whole video on how you make this beat. Shout out to Prod D. Go follow him. I'm gonna have his Instagram links in the description. Shout out to him. He did the loop. If this video helps you, drop a like. Really helps the video out. Also, subscribe with the notification bell on so you don't miss any sauce. It's been 6. Peace out.